We're only 2 episodes in, but Bronwyn, I don't know if she just starts seasons hot. I'm not sure what she does, but climbing the ranks, like big points this episode.
Not going to trust it. I learned my lesson last year. I'm not trusting this one. She's not going to get me.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Snowflake McGee. What's up, dude?
That makes me sound like I'm easily offended, and I am offended by that. Not a whole lot. LB is back. Lisa Barlow finally comes into the fold after missing in action for episode 1. I would say she was sorely missed, but that was a great episode 1, so I'm not even going to say that. It's just such a great show, and I'm happy she's back. Seems like after our discussion last week about episode 1, all of the things that we wanted to see pretty much came to fruition. We want to continue the conversation, not become shellfish and corner into a little ball somewhere over there and just hide away when Lisa Barlow comes into the room and not talk about the things that we talked about behind her back. Talk about it with her. Go over to her. Approach her. All of those things happen. So I'm happy. I'm a happy little clam.
Yeah, it was a great episode, top to bottom. They checked all the boxes I needed them to check. Before we dive in, going back to Snowflake McGee or whatever I called you this episode, I do have to make a comment. No. Of course not. No. I'm not taking it back because the fact that you were offended by it is ironic and funny. Perfect. But we got a review and someone said, and the nicknames for Shooter are so cringe, I have to fast forward. It's like, we've been doing this for a long time, and I've been making up nicknames for 20 years now, I think. So if you think
cringe isn't even the right word for whoever wrote that, if you're listening now, because you fast forwarded through the nickname, you missed a good one. Cringe is not the right word. They are just stupid. They're just stupid as hell. They're supposed to be.
How dare you?
They're supposed to be done. You know it. Don't you dare, Snowflake.
But hey, but every once in a while, I strike gold, and those are the days that I live for.
They're missing out on, once a month when I have a better nickname after something that you said, and then you get mad at me because I had the better nickname, and then you say, this is my thing. Don't get to say anything.
Doesn't count.
But we all know that's just code for fuck. That's so much better than what I just said. I wish I thought of that. You missed out on all of that. So that's such a strange, you know what? Keep fast forwarding through it because you're still listening. And if that's what you need to just continue to listen to us, then, whatever. Do what you gotta do.
And I will say we got another 1 star because somebody that loves OC decided that our recaps of OC is not to their liking. So if you could do us a favor, guys, help us out, give us a little 5-star review. Go to Apple, just click that 5-star button. If you want to leave a little review, we love that. If you just want to get 5 stars, that's fine too.
That's bullshit. We have been very nice to OC for the last 2 weeks.
That's what I thought.
Crazy. Maybe this is like a retroactive 1 star because we did hate watch it for, God, we're only 12 weeks into the season. We hate watched it for about 8 weeks, but like, come on, really?
Throw us a bone here. Help us out, guys. Anyway,
keep listening. If you're still listening and maybe you like our recaps of Salt Lake and you are the person who left that review, go back and listen to our last 2 episodes. We're very nice about it. We're very optimistic. We want what's best. Well, that's the thing that I feel like always just kind of falls through the cracks is when we're hate watching something, we're not enjoying the hate watch. We want it to be good.
Correct.
We're actually pissed that you guys continue to make us watch it. Now, where we are with OC currently, we did kind of get through the woods, so to speak. I'm still very hesitant, but we've been nice. Come on.
That's what I thought. Mean. That's mean, Snowflake McGee. Anyway, let's get back to RHOSLC, and it's the morning after the camping trip. They're still out in Provo Canyon. We don't really get a lot of what the Blair Witch stuff was. It's just like funny clips in the beginning of them wandering about at night, but there's no real answers as to like, ooh, what happened? Was it spooky? I didn't see anything. It was kind of a weird thing to tease last week and then really no payoff for it.
Yeah, I agree. I was kind of bummed out about that because the end of that episode looked like we were going to have story time with Meredith. What the hell happened out there, Meredith? Did you get lost? Did you fall? Are you okay? No, we're not going to talk about anything. conspiracy theory, and it's not
Uh-oh.
even really a conspiracy. This isn't like tinfoil hat worthy at all.
Skinwalker.
Maybe there was a skinwalker out there. It was Monica Garcia. Um, I don't think they stayed in that trailer. I just don't believe it. I'm sorry. Maybe one of them, maybe Angie did. Maybe whoever slept in Angie's bed, who I'm kind of forgetting who was next to Angie when she woke up. The way that Meredith and Heather kind of popped off of those recliners in the middle, and they're like, "Oh, good morning. How are you?"
Yeah, I'm
You
skeptical.
cannot tell me that they slept there. They went to a hotel, and I'm okay with it. I did want to see like actual footage overnight. Now, obviously, I expected us to get the Blair Witch stuff. We did not really get that. But I also wanted night cameras in the RV at like 3 a.m. with somebody getting up to go to the bathroom and pissing everybody off. And we didn't get any of that. So now, I don't know. My
Now the
feelings are up.
tinfoil hat's on. Yep.
Yeah.
But let's get to breakfast and the brushing of the teeth and all of that stuff. This was just kind of a funny scene for the most part up until we
Mhm.
get the daughter talk because, we're brushing our teeth. Heather can't spit because she got Botox in her lips. Bronwyn's murdering steak. Mary's very unhappy about it. She eats a steak in a bowl with a plastic knife and blames the steak for not being able to cut, which I thought was really funny. It's like you're holding it one-handed with a
Yeah.
plastic knife, but the steak is the problem?
Also, they had a grill the whole time.
I know. What the hell?
What the hell? We said that last week. We watched as they rolled into this campground. There were grills everywhere. Here they have like an electric griddle. Use that to cook your veggie burger, Mary.
Not
Why
a
is that not
stick.
around? Did what's his name? Teague? I don't know. Teague,
I
I
believe
think his name
Teague.
was. Yeah, Teague.
Where did Teague
Go
sleep?
out.
See, that's where I get the
Yeah,
conspiracy theories. Like Teague
Teague
went to the
slept there.
hotel and he definitely
Teague
took some people with him.
1,000% slept there. I don't know about that.
You think he
I
slept
think
in the RV with the lady? I don't think so.
I think he no, I think only he slept in the RV.
Oh, I see. They all went to the hotel and they took
Yeah.
Teague's car. Okay. All right. I
Yeah,
can see that
because the
too.
other thing is, now we're just, getting sidetracked all over the place, but
Yeah, it's okay.
when we saw pictures of Angie K's RV, that's not the same RV. So she rented this
Oh.
RV and Teague drives the RV. So I imagine he slept there and probably dropped the ladies off, came back. They took a couple of pictures, maybe a little bit of film showing that the RV was there overnight, there the next morning. I'm not believing any of it. Not getting stuck on it. I tend to get stuck on these things, but I'm not going to do it. But you can't tell me with a straight face that those women stayed in that RV. They went to a hotel.
Yep, I believe so too. Let's get to the conversation. And Heather is excited that Annabelle is leaving the nest. I think that she does a good job explaining the whole thing. Or
Mhm.
it's like, okay, I can understand that because you had to step in the role of mom and dad. Dad was a deadbeat, just showed up for like the fun dad days. No
Yeah.
overnights, no like real custody of the children. So ever since she got excommunicated from the church, got divorced, she's been solo trying to raise the daughters. So now she's ready to kind of enter her next chapter. It's like closing the door to that part of her life. So I can respect where she's coming from. I don't think she's saying like I'm so ready to not be a mom. And
No.
Bronwyn jumps in, I do believe trying to resonate with her or like at the very least understand where she's coming from. Clumsy at best. I took offense
Mhm.
to it as well. I was like, you're more or less saying she's a bad mom because she's excited, and
Yeah.
you're a good mom because you moved your daughter's boyfriend in, which all that tells me is you're lonely because Todd's gone all the time.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's a really good point, but I do think that this was two people meeting with very clumsy attempts at whatever they were trying to say. We all know what Heather was trying to say, and I think
Correct.
it's a sweet sentiment for her personal life that she gets to move on every time that she, has to be a mom or, make breakfast, all the mundane things that she might be looking at. It reminds her of her husband. It reminds her of her failed marriage. So I understand where she's coming from. She did a terrible job explaining that.
Yeah.
Bronwyn comes in from left field with a terrible job trying to resonate with that
Yeah.
by saying, and I know what Bronwyn was trying to say too. Basically, in a nutshell, it's hard being a mom. It's hard letting go. It's hard moving on to different things. Heather's saying she's excited for this next chapter, but also there are underlying issues. Bronwyn saying, I don't want the next chapter to start because I'm lonely. So I had my daughter's boyfriend move in, which is weird
Weird.
as hell.
Yep.
But both neither is right necessarily from
And
5,000 feet in the
neither's
air looking
wrong.
down. Neither is wrong. It's your own human experience. Do what you got to
You're
do. But Heather taking offense to it immediately is so funny. It's just if anybody else chimed in with exactly the clunky response that Bronwyn had, I think Heather would try to understand a little bit. Like, okay, yeah, no, you're just saying it's hard being a mom and figuring things out. I gotcha. But because it's Bronwyn, it's whoa. You said I'm a bad mom? Nobody said I'm a bad mom.
Every single
Nobody says
time.
me bad mom.
It's just she's irritated by Bronwyn's existence. Bronwyn
Yeah.
speaks and Heather gets irritated. I mean, she alludes to it later on. Like, I don't want to be irritated by Bronwyn all the time.
Yeah.
You don't have to be. For all intents and purposes, from what we've seen for 2 years now, I guess a year and an episode or two.
Year and change.
Year and change, thank you. Bronwyn has tried to bridge the gap with Heather. Heather doesn't want to, and you see why later. Like, that makes the most sense because, I mean, she played it dirty. That was some dirty ass pool that she plays later with Lisa Barlow. But we get a Robert Jr. update before we get there. And, Mary, of course, I got emotional this episode watching this whole thing. She's talking about Robert Jr. He's got his ups and downs, highs and lows. He's trying to navigate life after rehab, life in sobriety. I'm very curious about what this journey is going to look like this year. I thought they did such a great job last year following along in such a respectful way. Robert was in on it. He wanted to share his story, which I will always commend him for. So obviously, if you're keeping up with the news, somewhat recently he was arrested for, I believe, breaking and entering or trespassing or something like that. I don't want to say if he didn't do something, but something not great. So obviously it's going to be a storyline this season. Hopefully they're able to do it in a respectful way again. And I actually, between this scene and the scene that we'll talk about later, I'm just so impressed with how Mary handles it. And some people might think that the way that she's talking about it here is kind of cold, but those in sobriety, like, it really is up to the person that is sober to stay sober. And so Robert Sr. saying, look, you got the tools, you got to go live your life. Like, that, unfortunately, kind of is how of course you have a support system, but if you can't do it on your own, you're not going to survive on your own. So it's like this weird middle ground. If you want to help, you want to be, the helicopter parent, but that actually is detrimental to the kid. So yeah, I really respect the way that she handles Robert Jr. and his addiction.
I've respected it since day one because, again, we knew immediately Robert signed off on this, talking about it on camera, which is, a big pet peeve of ours. Whenever people are talking about their children, whatever they're going through, if it's a younger child, they're not signing off on this. They don't know what's going on. They have to watch this later. Robert's an adult. He signed off on it. I think what we saw in we'll call it season 1 of what Mary's going through last season, she was very emotional. I mean, this was news to her. This was breaking news to her. She was not really sure how to handle it. And I think what we've now known and what we can see in this scene is she's been doing the work in the off season. She's been doing the work every day with Robert to try to get to a different point of, I can support you from this standpoint. I can support you this way. What do you need here? And what can I do differently? And then she's probably talking to other people, I know. And I'm sure Mary's probably not going to share with us, or maybe she will. It's her prerogative.
Yeah, I don't
but
know.
I'm sure she's talking to people outside, maybe a therapist, maybe, some sort of counselor of some kind, to try to understand and how to get a grip on it and try to be the person that she needs to be for Robert's sake. And I think that's what we're seeing in this scene. I think we've seen it's a change in disposition. Last year, she was incredibly emotional about it. This year, it seems like she's coming to grips with it. And she also has a better handle in the situation and who she needs to be. So I think that's important as we see the evolution of this whole thing.
Yeah, that's really well said. But let's get back to civilization. And we just get a quick one-off before we get to Heather and LB. Is Amy going to be a friend of this socialite in Utah? Or is
I don't
this
know.
a one-off at the
I didn't
party?
really care for I think it was just to set up the party, but I didn't care for their overuse of Socialite.
I didn't either.
It was
Like,
charming at first, and then they talked about it a little bit, but then everybody's reaction and everybody who had a name tag at that party later,
Utah Socialite.
Utah Socialite. It's like, shut up. I don't really care.
It loses all meaning.
If I had to guess, I would say no. I think it was really just to set up the party later so that we had some sort of context. Not that we really need the context in this situation.
Nope, just big house, big party. Great.
Yeah, it's similar to going to a homeless, not toothless event.
Sure.
Here's the event coordinator, and they get a name tag, and then they're not going to be part of the show.
And here's the fight.
Yep,
happens every time. Let's get to Heather and LB. Lisa Barlow's first appearance this season, other than a cut scene in last episode. And we get a trip recap. Heather throws everybody under the bus instantaneously,
Mhm.
thus proving year after year she does not change. This is the Jen Shaw effect. Lisa Barlow's the new HBIC. Now she's cozying up to her. When she goes through her list, immediately brings up the fact that Bronwyn brought up the lawsuits. And when Lisa's like, well, who stuck up for me? Heather's like, well, I did, of course. What about Meredith? She was quiet. Meredith did. She said, let's wait for Lisa to get here. Let's not forget
Mhm.
Brittany, the wild card, was the first one to jump to Lisa's defense and
Yep.
defended her vehemently the entire time. She was actually trying to start shit on Lisa's behalf. Heather literally throws the entire group under the bus so that she can look like friend number one so she can be cozied up to LB, who she thinks is in charge of this group. This
Yep.
is the
And
same shit we saw with Jen Shaw.
it's the exact same shit that we saw with Jen Shaw. And it's so different when Heather does it, especially when it's going to somebody like LB or Jen. We see this time and time again. You're on a TV show. You know these scenes are going to come out when people are talking behind someone else's back. You want to get ahead of it. Fine. I understand that.
Yep.
This is not that situation, and it almost never really is with Heather. She's just getting ahead of it so that she can get into good graces. That's all it is. I would expect this move from her sister, Brittany.
Yes.
Her sister from another Mr. Brittany, I should say. They're such good friends. They're just like sisters. Brittany should be the one doing this. And then I would laugh about it and be like, of course Brittany's doing that. When Heather does it, it's sad.
I agree.
What are you doing? And this was not editing. This was not, they had a long drawn out conversation about random things going on in their lives. And then they got into the nitty gritty about what happened. This was as soon as they sat down. Oh my God, this table has a hook for my purse. This is incredible. Guess what the fuck these bitches were saying? Like, seriously, like that's how quickly it happened. And I do want to say specifically, I don't think, and I think a lot of people are going to say that, you know, she's hating on Bronwyn exclusively for LB's love. I don't think that's true. I don't think that I just don't think she likes Bronwyn. And I think that can be separate from this whole thing. But when it comes to the situation that we find ourselves in time and time again, with Heather sitting down one-on-one, spewing all of this nonsense and telling LB exactly what happened, it's just to get in her good graces. It's just so she can get a little pat on the head. And I hate it because Heather doesn't have to do this shit. She really does not. You weren't part of it. And that's the other side of a coin. When we watch shows like this, you did speak up for her and say, hey, we shouldn't do this. You don't have to go to Lisa and sit down and tell her all the shit that happened. When she watches it later and you go to the reunion, she'll be able to say, Heather had my back. Why didn't you have my back, Meredith? Instead, now you're sitting down with her the very next episode to tell her all the things that people were saying about her and throw them under the bus. It's just, it's I don't know. It's slimy. I don't like it.
Yeah, it was dirty, dude. It was dirty pool. And as they're going through it, it was a side of Lisa that I haven't really seen, because normally she convinces herself so much that she's in the right that she almost convinces me.
Yeah.
This was not that, because she brings up, she's like, oh, the one that's dismissed and the one that's getting dismissed. It's like, what about the other three? You have 5. And this is not Reddit. This is not, Page 6. This was in your local newspaper. So you have to answer
Tribune,
for it.
darling.
This is the Tribune, darling. So the evidence is stacked against you. And when we have evidence, you know us, we love factual evidence, hard copies of shit, receipts. This looks bad. And as she's trying to explain it away, I'm like, oh, this is weird. Usually she can wiggle out of it. I'm not feeling the wiggle here. And the best part is she's like, nobody sues the bottom bitch, which ironically, thanks to South Park, I know the bottom bitch is the HBIC.
Yeah.
That is who's in charge. Which is ironic.
I don't. Yeah.
No, it is. Oh, it is. Oh, it is. Do you want me to explain what it means?
I know exactly what you're referencing. I
Just
think
saying.
that only applies to that specific situation. And if you don't know
Only
what we're
to
talking about,
pimps.
yes, only
Okay.
to pimps and prostitutes does that
Got
actually
it.
apply. I
Thanks,
don't
South Park.
think the same can be said for a CEO of a company. I don't think anybody's calling the CEO of a company a bottom bitch. I think that's disrespectful.
They should start. Could you imagine the respect you would command by just walking around going, I'm the bottom bitch? Everyone would be like, oh God.
Oh my
Don't
God.
mess with them.
I just love the idea of you copy and pasting that for real life situations. I hope you haven't done that elsewhere.
I will try it. I will, in a situation like, I'm the bottom bitch. Someone's gonna be like, what? So anyway, there's a little vocab lesson for you guys. But Lisa being Lisa takes it to another level and makes her life seem completely different from everybody else's. I live a very different life than all of you. Everyone knows I do big things. No one thinks that. You do.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Vita's doing well, or at least it was doing well. These lawsuits raise a lot of questions,
They seem
especially the
personal with
money
the
part.
lawsuits. I don't
Not the
know if
loan, the loan. Oh, maybe. Oh, shopping and stuff.
yeah,
Not Vita. Well, Vita's involved in at least one of them. I do know that. That might be the one
there
that's
might
getting
be a
dismissed.
chance. Yeah, I don't. I didn't read the docket, so I have no idea what exactly is going on. But I could see a world in which she's expensing things to Vita, and there's a trace back that shows, hey, this is a personal expense that you put through the company. That could be one lawsuit, and then the other stuff seems to be all personal stuff with the loans and using Amex cards and having someone else pay for the Amex cards. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of
that whole
shit going
thing.
on here that is not really connected. And it seems
Yeah.
like, to me, it seems like somebody's doing almost like a witch hunt. If you've got this many like not connected issues that are popping up in lawsuits against Lisa only against the assets that she has, it seems like somebody's coming after her in a weird way.
It
I'm
could be that.
surprised.
I don't know because the
I'm
Amex
surprised she's
thing,
yeah, the Amex thing is bizarre, and we'll talk a lot more about that at the end of the episode. But the other stuff, I just don't really know exactly where it's stemming from, and I'm surprised that she talked as much as she did. And not that really she really made any sense because she just kind of raised more questions than gave any answers.
mhm.
But it doesn't make a ton of sense, and I don't know exactly where it's coming from. But she's not doing herself any good.
No, and the final nail in the coffin here for Heather being slimy is like this line. Oh, it's okay to have your feelings hurt by friends who betrayed you. It's like, are you trying to divide the entire group from her so you can have her to yourself? Like, this is strong, even for Heather.
Yeah,
We've seen it before, but like, this is a bold play very early on to get in Lisa's best graces.
I don't. I don't even know how to explain that. Like, it's okay to have your feelings hurt, which is, a little condescending, but
That
it's
would have been
also
enough.
almost like I can be the shoulder you cry on, Lisa. Come on over
Right.
here. Yeah, it's, I don't like it.
I don't know, dude. It was slimy. Let's get to BW and W. Bronwyn and Whitney. And they're snowboarding a little bit. And, Bronwyn's perspective is fascinating because she feels like she's moving forward with some people, but then, she's alluding to Heather, obviously. They had that nice moment in the kayak, but then
Mhm.
communication breakdown around the fire. Neither of them did a great job explaining themselves, as we said earlier. But the lawsuits come back up. And she brings up the fact that 5 people are suing you. And then we get more evidence. Apparently, allegedly, there's text messages about this. And I
Mhm.
will say later on, when we find out what those texts are, it's actually this scene, facepalm, overwhelmed in all caps. And that's the only response to, hey, you owe me 400 grand. Where's the money? That
Yeah.
to me, that's Lisa. That would be a
Yeah.
text from Lisa Barlow.
Yeah, it absolutely would be. And they even go deeper and they start talking about somebody potentially paying for her lip filler. Like what is going on? There's so much shit going on when it comes to all of these lawsuits. That's why I said they seem so much more personal
Well,
because
I think the lip
we
filler thing was just like a generalization of somebody's paying for her personal things via an
yeah, I mean they were talking
Amex.
about like the G-Wagon, they were talking about a couple of other items that she had purchased, purses, clothing, whatever it might be. This is when I immediately thought this seems so personal, and it seems like maybe it's whoever this individual is that actually did make payments on the Amex card for whatever reason, which maybe we'll get to at some point in time. Maybe he's the one or she's the one suing Lisa. That could be it, and they're kind of going through different channels. But originally, I thought this was all Vita. I really did. I thought when we were sitting at the RV campsite, I thought this was all just what Meredith said. It's just course of business. You have to loan money out. You have to get money. You got to borrow money here. Sometimes you don't pay it back. That's just how business works. That's how Meredith said at the campsite fire, if you could understand what she was saying. But you couldn't. No.
Not
Yeah.
really, no. And it didn't track for me because, again, it's like I understand that the wealthy take out loans to pay off loans. You don't have to pay
Yeah.
taxes on loans. So, like, that's how they get richer and richer. But at the same time, you still have to pay off your debts. Like, you don't get
Correct.
to wash the debt. And the reason, all of it, I know I'm jumping the gun, but fuck it. All of it tracks because it just seems like a Lisa move to say, like, there was no payment plan, there was no deadline, so I didn't pay it, and you can't make me pay it because you never set aside a deadline. Like, that sounds like a way that
Yeah,
she would
maybe.
wiggle out. Like, I agree that I'm sure some of these are personal. This one certainly sounds personal, but at the same time, if someone's fronting her an Amex bill
Yeah.
for 400K, like, yeah, you'd probably be kind of fucking mad. So
Yeah.
there's so many questions. Apparently, it's some mystery man that's behind the Amex card. And in these text messages, allegedly, it says, "Don't tell JB husband boss about this
Mhm.
money,"
Now,
which
but we've also gotten to the part in the story where Bronwyn is now actively finding things,
now
which
she's digging. Yeah.
doesn't really bode well for anybody who ever does this. It also almost never hits. Like people who show up with receipts and they start reading things, it's just court documents. If it's going to be talked about, it's going to be talked about. You don't have to be the one to go do it. Somebody else is probably going to do it. But I don't know if it's a great move for Bronwyn because
Well, it
it
opens
seems
the
like
door.
it opens the door for sure, but now she's just stacking against Lisa. And we also know what's coming around the corner for Bronwyn with the identity theft. And now we're trying to,
Now we know where
we're
it comes from.
yeah, we're sort of getting a pretty clear picture of how that all starts coming out. But this is what happens. You could have just left it at, I read this in the newspaper. She's got some lawsuits. You could do some light reading on your own. I'm not going to tell you not to do that, just so you at least have some facts to back yourself up when you inevitably get into a fight with Lisa. But anytime you're on camera saying, I started going digging and I started reading more of it, and now I've got some documents on my end, and look at these text messages, it just never bodes well. So
Mm-mm.
it's very interesting. And again, this is a Bronwyn move. We saw this in the beginning of last season. She comes out so strong and she seems like she can defend herself. She seems like she could be an actually good opponent for somebody on the cast. And then she flounders. So I think that same thing's going to happen again. I am not letting my guard down on that, but it's creating some really good drama. So I'm going to let it happen. Of course, I'm not going to condemn her, but
Yeah, it's interesting.
it's going to end poorly for her.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not going to go great as we've seen happen before, but maybe I'll hold out hope. You don't, I do. How about that?
Okay, fair
All
enough.
right. Let's get to Mary and Robert Jr. This scene was this one hit me a lot, obviously. These types of scenes tend to. And when he comes in, she's asking how he's doing. He's like, I'm at a standstill right now, and like not a dark place, but I can still feel that dark place out there. And everything he was saying hit me right in the gut because I remember fresh out of rehab, this terrifying feeling of like, what am I supposed to do now? And the one thing that connects you with your social life with other people is your substance of choice. So
Mhm.
now you're looking at the world like, oh, I can't go to the bar and grab a beer with my friends. Oh, I can't go to a party and get drunk. Oh, can I even hang out with people without being awkward without alcohol? Which I found out I could, which was an amazing
Yeah,
thing. But at the same time,
it's going to be
that
different for
in
each person too.
it's always different. Some people simply cannot be around it, and some people can. It's not better or worse. It just is what it is. And with Robert, again, his vulnerability in speaking about this stuff on camera, being so open about the fact that he's been dabbling in drugs again. If that is only weed, as he says, we don't know. And I'm not going to sit here and speculate about it. But he's clearly going through some heavy shit. And I thought that Mary did a great job of understanding it. She did a great job of also being somewhat firm in, look, you need to isolate from these people. And that's one of the biggest things from addiction and recovery is people, places, and things that
Yeah.
you used to familiarize yourself with. If you hung out with these people, they're a bad influence. You hung out at this place, it's a bad influence. If you did these things, it led you down a bad path. So like understanding that you have to isolate at the same time, it raised questions for me in which, he's struggling to find a community. And then I have questions as far as his aftercare goes. Like, is he going to NA? Is he going to AA? Is he going to meetings? Is he doing something? Because like a big facet of post rehab is meetings because it gives
Mhm.
you a community. It gives you people to talk to. Because of course, when you're home by yourself in your room, it's lonely as shit. Let me tell
Yeah.
you right now, I've never been so alone in those like 2 months after rehab, but like I hope that he has that stuff. And there's not a lot to take away from the scene other than it's very emotional and also the vulnerability of these two and their ability to address this situation in the correct way is so refreshing once again because we've seen it mishandled so many times. So just bravo to these two. second season in a row tackling this issue the correct way.
Yeah, it's almost like a different type of reprieve. We're used to having really good shows with a lot of drama, and then we get a good reprieve with a family scene. We get a good reprieve with, taking the kids to soccer practice, whatever it might be. That just is kind of wholesome. This is also wholesome in a way, if you want to go down that and you want to look at it that way. It's just a lot different, and it's a lot more sharing. And I hope that people are watching this the same way that we're watching this, where
I
it's
hope
not
so.
just it's not just a waste of a scene. It's not just something like, all right, let's move on. And look, even if it's just because Mary Cosby is incredibly captivating and you really can't figure out exactly what's going on with her, this is a really good glimpse into her actual life. She's a really good mom, and she's trying to get through this with her son, who she loves very much. So if you look at it that way, that's a good way to look at it. Like you said, there's not a lot to really unpack with this, nor would we really want to unpack a whole
No,
lot
it's
with
not
this.
our
It's
business.
more of the same from last year. Obviously, now we're a little bit more used to it. We're a little bit more used to seeing things like this when it comes to these two. So once again, we're just going to say good for you guys. Thanks
Yeah.
for sharing.
Yeah, and I think the last thing I'll say on it for anybody watching, if you're not familiar with recovery and stuff like that, like this is very real. And I can say that from where I've been. Like what he's going through is extremely real. So if you ever wanted to get a glimpse into what it feels like to be on our side of things, this is a great scene to watch. All of their scenes together are really good scenes to watch. This is what it's like, and it's scary as shit. So I'm constantly like, it's crazy because he's a Bravo TV character. I'm constantly thinking about this kid. Like when shit pops up with Mary or I'm always like, I hope he's doing good. I hope he's doing good. So I'm curious to see how this season transpires. Again, obviously, it looks like we're going to head down a dark path before it's all said and done. Hopefully, it bounces back. Relapse, unfortunately, is part of the recovery process for a lot of people. It doesn't mean he's a bad person. It just means this is really hard. So we'll keep an eye on it. But as you said, as I've said, kudos to these two. It's really strong stuff. But let's get to Bronwyn and Heather because they go to sit down to lunch, which I like. I like that we're doing this early. Let's get this shit out of the way. Let's try to reach a place.
One-on-one, no third
Absolutely.
party.
Which is so fucking annoying that they sit down one-on-one, which is what we need to do, right? We saw last year Heather was so disingenuous, that scene that she went over to Bronwyn's, nothing was going to get accomplished. In this moment, it seems like group conversations with these two don't work because then you get Whitney piling in, right? Or you get Meredith jumping in. It just does. It always sidetracks and they always end up saying it the wrong way with other people around. Let's just do this together. That irritates Heather. And Bronwyn going into the scene is like, I just want to either one, be friends, or two, at least be cordial. I'm like, these are very reasonable goals. But when I see Heather sitting in the car waiting and mean mugging Bronwyn as she enters the restaurant, I'm like, this is already off to a tough start for me because she's
it's off to a
clearly
tough
not
start,
cool.
and it also looks like producers are making you guys sit down. Like you don't want to do this, but producers are in your ear telling you, go sit with Bronwyn one-on-one. We need to hash this out, or at least get to a different level, because it's getting to a point where you guys can't stand each other. Mostly Heather can't stand Bronwyn, and it's not making for good TV because we know what to expect every single time. The best relationships on these shows are the ones that go up and down. Look at these two. Look at these two. We see it a little bit later. Brittany hugs Meredith. They were good friends. They were on the phone twice. They're not good friends anymore. Meredith hates her.
They went to lunch once for hours.
They went to lunch. They went to lunch once.
Lunch.
They went to lunch. That's where we're going to leave that. And now they're able to hug. Like those are the types of friendships where, you can have a little bit of laughy moments, and you can have a lot of upset moments. That's what we need. We can't have this like immediate just disdain for somebody else every time they talk. It's not good TV. So I don't think that Heather wanted to do this. I think it was against her will. And I hope that she's able to at least take from the conversation, we can be cordial at least a little bit. I don't see it happening just because Heather has ulterior motives, especially when it comes to Lisa Barlow. But at least fucking try for a couple episodes. Just see how it goes.
Wouldn't that be nice just to like give it a shot? We've yet to see it. The walls up around Heather when it comes to Bronwyn are insane to me. Bronwyn seems like a good time. Like everyone that's friends with her seems to have fun. I don't understand what this wall is between them. And the funniest part is as they're talking about all of this shit, we can all agree the way that you both said what you said wasn't what you meant, and it didn't come out great. Heather, it did sound like you were trying to say, like, I'm so ready for my kids to fuck off. I don't want to be a mom anymore.
I'm so ready to just be single with no kids is what I got from it.
Correct. But I don't believe that's what you meant. I know
No,
you
that's
love
not
your
what you meant at
daughters.
all. Yeah.
Right. I know you love your kids and I know you're a good mom. So of course you didn't translate it the right way. So can we give the same grace to Bronwyn, who's trying her best to relate, but is not the best in the moment surrounded by a bunch of people? She
Yeah.
tends to step on her own feet, hence why she wants to have this one-on-one. But your response to that, when she says something nice explaining her stance, is why don't you do this in front of the group? It's like, because it doesn't work. You tried
Because
that.
I physically cannot do this in front of the group.
Yeah. It's just, you know, it's just simply a miscommunication. Something's lost in translation between these two. And I think the end of the day, it's quite clear the roadblock here is Heather. And it's because Heather
Mhm.
is friends with Lisa. Last year, she had her own shit with Bronwyn. It is what it is. This year, it looks like because Lisa went on a tweet tour in the offseason, bashing Bronwyn over and over again. Heather clearly is looking at that stuff. Heather clearly wants to be friends with Lisa. Heather can't bend the knee to Bronwyn or even high five her because then she'll be on the outs with Lisa Barlow. And that just simply
Yeah.
cannot happen. So we reach an immovable object, which is never fun. We don't like those. We like to see some kind of bridge forward so that we're not stuck on this, which is a non factor for the next 10 episodes.
Yeah, it would really just be annoying because we know that every single time that Lisa and Bromley get into it, which is going to happen probably every episode for the rest of the season, Heather's always going to be staunchly on Lisa's side. She's always
Yep.
going to be against Bromley. The best housewives are the ones that can flip flop. If you're able to see both sides and go back and forth and talk some sense into somebody else, we love you. That's how
Oh,
it
yeah.
works. The ones that are immovable and won't hear the other person out are the most annoying housewives on TV. Heather, you're already skating pretty thin. There's not a whole lot of give here. People already don't really like you. Steele and I both like you because we
We
know
love you.
there's so much more potential there. But you always do shit like this that stands
Yeah.
out. And it's like, come on. You don't have to do this. You can stand by yourself for a little while, and other people will probably like you, and you'll have your own storyline, and it could be a little interesting. It could actually keep you on the show for a long period of time. Not that I think there's going to be any changes anytime soon, but it
No.
is just very funny that all this always happens because we know how good Heather can be, and she does shit like this, and you just want to smack her. Like, hey, enough.
Come on.
Stop doing this shit. Come on.
It's like when she's good, she's great, you know? And
Yeah.
then like the next episode, she does something. You're like, no, why did you do that?
Don't
Like,
do that. I was just gearing up to sing your praises on the podcast. I was just gearing up to say she finally figured it out. And then you do something like this. And it's just so frustrating.
it's the Heather Gay MO, dude. We see it all the time. And for
Oh, by the
Bronwyn,
way, Lisa Barlow is back to live tweeting these episodes. And
oh, good.
she's so fucking great.
Those are always
Well,
fun.
people had a problem with her first confessional look, which it was a little rough. She didn't look that great. She tweets out another picture and says, "This one was much better. I agree with you guys. That first look was not great, but that's why you got to keep rolling with the punches." And that's all she
I love
said.
that.
It's
I
like,
love
all
that.
right.
But
Look at you
that's why
speaking
she's
to the
great.
fans. I
Like,
know.
look, she's off to a rocky start as far as credibility goes. As
Yeah.
far as entertainment value, she's always going to be top tier. And like that's what we
She
expect out of
is.
her.
And like, I actually would expect, and I know the new Rhodey cast tried to do this, but it didn't really work. I would expect more housewives who are mainstays to interact with the fans a little bit more on social media because
Yeah,
it's
right.
always fun. And when you do that, people like you or they love to hate you, whatever it might be. It creates this buzz around you. Lisa does it so well on Twitter. She doesn't even have a verified account. She just goes on and just talks about the episode. And then she just spews a ton of shit about whoever's talking shit on her and throws up all these like text conversations or whatever it might be. She's so good at it. And it's just so simple. Just do more of that.
I totally agree. And I think the highlight of this scene for me is just the double standard that Heather has for Lisa and for Bronwyn.
Mhm.
Because Lisa tweets all these things, Bronwyn responds in kind, meeting her where she's at, as she says, that makes sense to me. But that's not okay. But Lisa tweeting mean things, that's okay. And it's just, again,
Yeah.
painting this picture of Heather that we don't love. But let's get to Amy's. And I don't personally like these kinds of parties. We talk about it, you know, the eyes wide shut thing. It
Yeah.
gives me those vibes. I don't like these. They make me uncomfortable. But here we are at a Utah
Oh,
socialite event.
I thought you meant you don't like housewife scenes at these parties. I was
No,
like,
I
yeah,
don't
I
care.
can get that.
That's either hit or miss. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're
Yeah.
bad. I don't like high society
Specifically.
events.
Yeah.
because they give me the heebie-jeebies a little bit. You know what I
Too
mean?
many Mormons in one room. I don't really know what to do with that.
What is this, mass? What the hell are we doing here? No, I don't even know if they call it mass. I'm not sure what Mormons what's their worship time? Mass?
I think
More
they just call it worship time. Yeah,
more,
that's good.
more mass?
More mass. Uh-huh. Yeah. That's
probably
actually
more
what this
mass.
party is. So there's mass and then there's more mass.
This is more mess. Okay,
Yeah,
so we're
this
at
is
more
more
mess
mass.
at Amy's house. Amy's more mess party. I'm glad we figured that out. JB husband boss and LB arrive, and we have some very awkward hellos. And one thing that you're always going to get with Lisa that is exceptional is her inability to tiptoe into something. If
Yeah.
something's going on, it will be brought up immediately. And sure enough, it's brought
It
up.
did. But like I love who brings it up because obviously she goes to Meredith. She's got her ducks in a row. She's going to go to Meredith first because that one isn't that big of an issue. She
Mm-mm.
heard from Heather that she was silent. She didn't call her out for being silent. She just asked her what happened. Meredith did a good job of saying, yeah, there was a lot of things said about you. Not really sure. Obviously you can get into it.
You should
That
go
one,
talk to
that one,
so and
that
so
one.
and
You should
so
go
and so.
talk to that. Exactly. That's perfect. Who comes out of left field, who I was expecting to come out of left field, is Brittany.
Sister Brittany.
You should have heard everything that they said about you. And by the way, Lisa opened her arms and gave her a big old hug and a kiss on the cheek. They are good friends.
They're
I don't care
sisters.
what fucking anybody says. Brittany and Lisa did become good friends after New York. And if somebody tries to take that away from me, I will fight you.
Sister Brittany. Lock
Sister
it.
Brittany.
Yeah, we've seen it in real time, so you can't dispute it until Lisa inevitably gets rid of her. But that doesn't matter. Anyway, Brittany throws Bronwyn under the bus immediately and brings up the biggest allegation that was made, which is you were compared to Jen Shaw. She does say that Angie's the one that said that.
Mhm.
We agreed as well when that was thrown out there, like, whoa, no, that's a bridge too far. And Angie tried to reel it in almost immediately. But once you throw that out there, again, the comparison is because she's catching a couple of lawsuits that we don't know a whole lot about yet. She's stealing money and retirement funds from the elderly. Like,
Yeah.
that's a little strong and deserves to be brought up. But the
But
thing is, like, go
no
ahead.
one brought up Lisa's original comment that she compared Angie to Jen Shaw.
Oh, that's a good point. Right.
But like
Duh.
that never gets brought up. And that's the thing that it's always lacking when it comes to an argument with Lisa. And I do
just
think
forgot
Bronwyn
about it
held her
too.
own really well.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we talked about it last week. We had a screenshot of it from production that put it on the middle of the episode. Lisa said it first. So why is Lisa? Oh, I'm sorry. She said it about Bronwyn. I misspoke, not Angie. But she said it about Bronwyn, another person in the group, another person on the cast. Why is it now all of a sudden it's grounds for excommunicado because all of a sudden Angie K is saying that she's like Jen Shaw? You already said it. It's already in your arsenal. You're already thinking that when somebody lies or somebody's doing something that's shady, you're going to call them Jen Shaw as an insult. But if somebody does it back to you, that's no go. Absolutely not. How dare you do that?
Whitney alluded to it earlier on the mountain. The fact that like Lisa can do X, Y, and Z, but if anyone else does it, that's problematic. So we're getting more and more evidence. I myself, this is the Lisa Barlow effect. I forgot about that entirely.
No, look,
because
I
she's
love
so
Lisa.
captivating.
This show does not. I still don't think it works that well without Lisa. I think
I
she's
agree.
incredible. I think she's a great housewife, and I love her personally. I think she's very funny and incredible. But I want fairness. I want there to be some people
Even
holding
playing
people's feet
field.
to the fire. Give me an even playing field on every show, and I'm a happy boy.
I agree 100%. But Lisa goes to confront Angie immediately. And she's like, well, what did Brittany tell you so that I can clear this whole mess up? And
Smart.
the lawsuits come up. Yeah, it was a smart play. And I think even Lisa's probably like, yeah, okay, a little bit.
Yeah.
Lisa she's rattled. And you don't see her get rattled this quickly very often. I was like, uh-oh, because she goes, Bronwyn didn't go to law school. I didn't even think she went to college. I was like, what does that have to do with reading a lawsuit? Like, we can all
And
read
she
it.
did. Heather just talked to her about BYU, which is college. So,
Yeah.
I mean, she did go to college, but yeah, we're
Didn't
not
she
used
leave?
to
I thought she
seeing.
left because she had
She
Gwen.
did leave. She got pregnant. I don't know. Who the hell knows exactly what happens, but we don't usually see Lisa lobbing these level of insults this early on. Now, you could say that last season was brutal for Lisa and she was constantly playing defense. She does it really well. She might just be lethargic at this point. She's just tired of dealing with it. And she's just going right ahead for the low blows. That's where she's going. But the other side of that is why are you not addressing the rumors? Why are you not addressing the lawsuits? Why are you just sweeping that under the rug? She didn't even do a good job of sweeping it under the rug. She just moved on to
No,
insults. So
she went
it
straight to
is
insults
telling.
and
Yeah.
clumsy insults at that. That we see these. These are not like non-existent in Lisa Barlow's arsenal, but as you
No.
said, these come out after 30 minutes of back and forth where you're trying
Yeah.
to make sense and then
These come
it
out
goes
in Mexico
haywire.
in episode 16. Like, not now.
No, not episode 2. And she starts trying to go through everything and Bronwyn, holy shit, Bronwyn
Yeah.
absolutely clears her
Took
every
her to task.
single time that she tries to bring anything up. She's like,
Yep.
you know, I've got questions about you. And like, I think other people should have a pause about when it comes to you because of the things going on. Like, this stuff doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, well, I've got a pause about you, gout dick sucker. It's like funny, sure.
Very funny.
But what? What are we
Incredible
doing?
insult.
It's a great insult. That's that.
So
I'm
good.
not trying to take away from the insult itself. It's phenomenal, especially considering Todd's age. But
It's
again,
just that she said it like
clumsy.
6 times because she had nothing else to say.
We
Bronwyn
don't
was doing a
see
really
that.
good job of keeping she was very even keeled. She tried to stay on task talking about lawsuits, and she knew that she had Lisa rattled, which is what Bronwyn was missing last year. And I hope that she can continue this. I'm still on the fence about Bronwyn as a housewife. Not really sure if she's going to be good, not really sure if she can handle herself. As we saw last year, she crumbled. But if she can do this and she can do this consistently, this was really, really good arguing because all you did was just keep Lisa on task and you didn't get rattled after every insult that she lobbed at you. You even made a couple of jokes about sucking dick. You started screaming about sucking dick, asking the other ladies if they suck dick. Whitney was just happy to be there. And she's like,
Hell
I
yeah.
fucking love sucking dick.
Yeah, it's
Justin
great.
heard her in the other room. He got rock hard.
He came
That's
running
all.
in. Did you see somebody
were-
fell over? He knocked over a drink tray running over to his wife.
They were in the middle of asking Jared if he's in love with Brittany, and then all of a sudden Justin just heard Whitney say "suck dick," and he said, well, "I gotta go, boys. I'll see you later."
I heard
Somebody
the call.
fire up the mud room, get the paints ready. We're getting after it. We're having a little sex art party. But she was doing a really good job of like not only keeping on task with Lisa, but also looking around and not frantically. We've seen this a lot, but they frantically look around for any sort of help. She was pointing at people saying, well, you suck dick. Technically, you're married. You suck dick for money. That works, right? That's how we do this. Now let's get back to Lisa. And she didn't spend too much time like completely deviating from all the things that she was trying to accomplish. She's just trying to ask Lisa a couple of simple questions, which Lisa's not answering at all. She's just throwing insults, and it looked pretty rough, honestly. Lisa's been so much better at this in the past, and I do wonder if she's just getting a little tired.
This is a bad showing for her. This is a really bad showing because she brings up, we love this, love some evidence. She brings up some evidence about the court case in regards to the Amex. And Lisa's like, it's not in the court case. Production does her dirty. Bang, right on the screen, big, bold, yellow highlighted letters.
Yep.
It's in the court case. So you're not doing yourself any favors when it's public record and people can read it. Like, it would do you a service to read your own lawsuits, which I don't think you have. I think your lawyers have. I think you should read it so you know what the allegations are against you so that
she's
this
just
happens.
not going the distance. She needs to go the distance.
She said that earlier too. She's like, I went the distance with
know.
Angie, like, but she didn't. You treated Angie like shit for everything we've seen, but whatever. If you want to die on that hill,
You were
that's
wrong too, by the way, because you went after the wrong person. Well, we're still not really sure if Meredith was actually spreading DMs.
Meredith was definitely behind it. We know
was
that.
Absolutely doing
like
that.
There's no
and
doubt.
The funniest part, the really, really funny part that I laugh about from time to time is that Meredith was probably communicating with Reality Von Teese without realizing it was Monica.
Oh, for sure.
And that is so funny to me. And I guarantee you that it probably doesn't keep Meredith up at night. Let's be
not anymore, but I bet back then it did.
I don't think it ever did, honestly. I think she sleeps very
She lost
easily.
it in her correspondence. She's not caught up in her DMs, but I agree. Bronwyn did great. And, accusing her of sucking dick for money and it's her husband does not land. It doesn't work. No one's at home like, oh shit. Everyone's like, yeah, they're married. What are we doing? And yeah, he's older and away. It was a
funny thing that Bronwyn said like 2 years ago, talking about an Amex bill that she would get. She would see Todd's face and she'd be like, well, I can suck your dick. And then maybe we can make this whole Amex bill go away. Funny when it's your husband. Not
Correct.
Funny when it's potentially a guy paying
stranger.
off your Amex card who, by the way, and I did think this because we saw it in the trailer when we go back to the conversation that Whitney and Bronwyn had on the ski mountain. I thought they were going to go a little deeper. Do we think it's the Utah Jazz guy? Do we think it's the courtside
Oh,
seats guy?
well, I mean,
Because I thought they
that's
were.
the
I
mystery
think
man.
they will put 2 and 2 together at some point, but that story will come back up. Whitney will be involved in that, and I don't know if I like that because when Whitney gets involved, I don't tend to like things like
It
that.
gets sloppy
It gets
usually.
very sloppy, yeah. So
Yeah, we
give her
can't really
some
stay on
time to
task.
prepare. Hopefully, somebody can help her with that. Yeah, I don't
That
know,
would
but
be
it was a great
ideal.
showing by Bronwyn, and it goes to
Outstanding.
show you it's a great show because we all expected as soon as this popped off, Bronwyn looked nervous when she walked in the room. Didn't expect this at all. I expected Lisa to just pack her up in a suitcase and send her out of the fucking party. Instead, it was the other way around, and I love that because you got to expect the unexpected on this show.
Especially with the line, "I get my Amex bill in a box." I was like, "Hell yeah, you do," because
Yeah.
you're rich, as we
Mhm.
know from the Palm Springs trip. But it was just exceptional work. I was blown away. I really was, and I get where you're coming from and being a little hesitant to jump all the way back on the Bronwyn train because this is pretty much cut
We
and
always
paste.
root for it. We
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 did it
always
last
root
year,
for it.
dude. We're like, this is
I
it. She's
know.
the best. And then she fucking tanked. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to jump all in. I'm further in than you are because this was
Yeah.
a tremendous showing. And I have never seen Lisa so incapable of a good response. Like she was so fucking rattled this whole time that her big
Yeah.
insult was, "You suck your husband's dick." It's like, okay, what, what are we doing? Like you
Yeah.
can't do any better
She's
than that.
usually
And you
way
still
more
haven't answered. Like she has
but
not
she also
answering anything.
the frustrating part is and I want Lisa to be good because I also want this argument to be a great back and forth, like a great
Mm-hmm.
tennis match. Just volleying. Jesus, I can't
Following
talk. Volleying. No, I was like in the middle of hiccuping. You ever do
lunch.
that?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
once. No, I really want to see a good tennis match. I want to see you guys volley back and forth and be like, whoa, holy shit, didn't expect that. Whoa, that's great. Instead, all we got was a one-sided match. She just absolutely destroyed Lisa, and Lisa had days and days to prepare. And I know you were going through contract disputes. We can talk about it now. You're going through contract disputes. That's why you're not on the first episode. Fully understand that, whatever. But instead, you take Heather out to lunch, you get all the dirt, you probably are talking to Brittany every night. I assume that's the person that you're calling on the phone. You already know what's going on there. You know exactly what everybody has said to this point, and you know what the content is. You know what they're talking about. Go read the court documents so that you know what they're talking about because other people who are trying to bring you down are reading them and they know them verbatim and they're going to use them to insult you and take you to task. And instead, she was underprepared. And that's
Yep.
not usually what we see from Lisa. So I was disappointed.
I was too. I was disappointed in her. I was very appointed in Bronwyn. Is that a thing? Disappointed.
Sounds
So yeah,
sexual. I don't like
I don't
that.
like it. I don't care for it
Yeah.
after I said it. I'm with you there. I'm not going to say it
Yeah.
again. Now I am curious though if that is a thing. Like if I'm
Now you're
happy with you, shooter, am I appointed in you? Yes. Yes. There's no way to say it without
Yeah,
sounding sexual, huh?
and also the prepositional phrase you said in me, and I don't like that.
I'm disappointed in you,
Yeah, but you're
right?
pointed in me, and I don't. Yeah, no.
Appointed in you. Yeah. No.
There's a point in me. I don't.
I'm gonna I'm gonna appoint you. Apologize. Anyways, that's all I got. Let's get to some questions. I almost did the sign off too quickly. Let's see what the people are
I
saying
think you
about this one.
thought that we were going to be doing that.
I
This
thought
show
we were
hadn't aired yet.
screeners, from the premiere, which we only get the premiere and then nothing. It's really annoying. Not complaining, but kind of
First one up here from Honda. Accordingly, why is Brittany here? Because Brittany fucking rocks. That's
Brittany
why
is
she's here.
pivotal. She needs to
Brittany
be on the
is
show.
the best.
You gotta watch her through the right. It's the Shep effect. It's the Southern Charm. You have to watch her through the correct lens. Don't take her too seriously. Appreciate what she brings to the show, and you'll enjoy her much more. From Pretty Ricky 22, why is Heather constantly so combative with Bronwyn? We're really not sure. I'm almost to the point. Does this
don't
go
think she
back to
likes her.
like? Does this go back to high school? Like that's
It
where I start. Like,
could.
how far back
No,
does this go?
I don't think they knew each other in high school. I don't think they knew each other in college either. She was friends with Angie in high school.
Angie
That
was the
was
high
like a
school
big high
friend.
school
That's
friend.
right. That's right.
I
That's right.
don't think she knew Bronwyn, but they got off on the wrong foot and they never got back. And I think Bronwyn tried a little bit here and there to try to clear the air, but Heather was not having it. So I don't think that she likes her. I do think that there is a byproduct of being Lisa's friend and immediately hating who Lisa hates, which Heather's doing right now. But I don't think she really likes Bronwyn.
Clearly. From JD Lakin, great start for Bronwyn, but do scenes for next week make it look like she'll back down again? That's what we're waiting for. That's what we're used to, is the stumble after an amazing performance. We're hoping not, but if history tells us anything, that is her MO. So I think this could be a big sophomore year for her where we may see a stumble. And then obviously we know she takes some time off on a trip to deal with the fraud and stuff.
Yeah.
How she returns from that is going to speak volumes to what type, like how good of a housewife she is.
She was on Watch What Happens Live, and she handled herself pretty well. Andy
was good on
didn't
that.
really ask her crazy shady questions.
He didn't
but
press her that hard, no.
I do think that she was a little bit more confident because the first question was, who do you believe more, Lisa or Bronwyn? And Bronwyn won that by a landslide. So I do think that helped. But I don't know. From K Sparkle K, is Lisa just pissed that Bronwyn wasn't one and done? I don't think so. I don't get that vibe from her. She's really not.
I don't think she cares who's on the show.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think she's an incredible housewife. And I don't believe that she has crossed over into the realm of this is my show, get off my show. I get to call the shots or anything like that. I don't get that from Lisa at all.
I think she thinks it's her show. I don't think she cares who else is on it.
I agree.
That's the vibe I get from Lisa. Yeah, a lot of people in here talking about how Lisa lost, which is crazy. Even like this, Kay Looker Woods, for the love of God, the blinking Lisa. Am I just now noticing this, or is it new? Is this a new tick? Is she losing it? Is she starting to falter?
I will say this. She's had years of being the HBIC and everybody coming for her constantly.
And done a great job with it.
And she's done an awesome job, but it is going to wear you down at some point. She might just be fucking tired of dealing with this, and I wouldn't blame her. From Dan J. Falconer, has anybody ever rattled Lisa as quickly as Bronwyn? Not since her and Meredith had a falling out, and that wasn't even rattling. That was like,
well, that was different. That was Lisa Barlow before LB. Yeah, it's like when we start. If you go back to the early seasons when Jen Shaw was the clear-cut, self-imposed dictator of this show, in the before times, if you want to call them that.
In the before times,
Lisa was Meredith's lackey, more or less. Like she was hooked onto her pocket most of the time, and then they had that massive falling out. Lisa had a really rough time with that, but from that blossomed LB, this standalone star who we all love so much. So no, we've never seen this really, because I wouldn't say that she was in the same place back then as she is now. So this was new. That's why I think everyone's talking about it, because it's something that was pretty shocking, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. Doesn't look like there's any other questions pertaining to anything else except for, which I didn't notice, maybe you did. From J Bay the Hut 713, did the waiter with the bug eyes scare you too?
Yeah, I caught him.
Bug eyes.
They flashed over to him real quick. It was Lisa and Heather. I loved
that lunch
the
scene.
Two people. Like there's a couple behind them, and there's two women eating to the left of them. And this scene, usually I don't like feel like the room is awkward.
Yeah,
but I think because it was so quiet and they were so loud and standing up, and it was a smaller room.
Yeah.
Like I felt for the two women because it looked like they were just trying to eat lunch, and they're like, this is uncomfortable. Like, do we look at the camera? Do we not? The couple behind, like the dude was just like smiling at the camera, like, what the hell's going on here? Like, what is this? Yeah.
It's so funny with those scenes. Depends on where you are. Like New York, they don't give a fuck that you're filming.
Don't care.
LA, they are excited because they know exactly who you are. Everywhere in between is a crapshoot.
Yep. But every other question is the same question about Lisa and Bronwyn taking her to task. So that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope. All good here.
Well, we are geared up for another phenomenal season of RHOSLC. So buckle up, bros. That's our show. Bros gotta go.